Well, hey, I'm back. Why is this like I'm trying to get back into the things, swing of things. Here we go. This is not the setup that I wanted. I apologize. However, we're just gonna wing it. Yep, there's my bedroom. Until I get this situated in a new setup, we're just gonna wing this, okay? I was on TikTok and I shared with them something that has been, I guess, heavy on my heart, or I guess I was struggling and I didn't realize until now. Like I had an epiphany, and because with everything that's going on, during my meditations, I have talks, with the spirit guides, source, my higher self, and whatnot. And it was so profound. And this is what I want to share with you is how forgiveness is a trap, how it's been weaponized. And bear with me, hear me out, especially if you've been struggling in certain aspects of your life. What if this is the key, the missing link that's going to help you break free once and for all? So, we've been taught that forgiveness is some kind of moral obligation, a requirement to spiritually evolve or get close to God. But what that often turns into is a forced spiritual bypassing, where real pain, trauma, and accountability get swept under the rug in the name of being good, obedient, and pure. When the abused are told they must forgive, especially their abuser, in order to be free or holy or healed, that's spiritual abuse. When and it also places the burden of emotional labor on the one who's already suffered. And it's utterly dehumanizing when we're talking about crimes like rape, slavery, genocide, and systemic abuse. Now, here's my understanding instead. You don't have to forgive to be free. What actually frees people is validation, truth telling, justice, boundaries, and reclaiming their power. Healing isn't about releasing someone else from responsibility. It's about reclaiming your own soul from the grip of trauma and betrayal in your own way, on your own terms. Not forgiving doesn't mean you're stuck. Holding a sacred no to evil, violence, and injustice is not the same as being bitter or trapped. Sometimes the most powerful act of liberation is saying, I will never excuse or absolve what you did, and I will rise anyway. There are crimes that cannot be forgiven, only witnessed, named, and transmuted. Some energies, like those of rape, torture, child abuse, systemic genocide, are too vile to meet with forgiveness. They demand truth, reckoning, and often ritual closure or ancestral healing, not blind mercy. So, what might be missing from the whole you have to forgive narrative? Justice. Where is the justice? More forgiveness, teachings, skip it entirely. Ancestral truth, your blood remembers, your bones remember. They're not here to bow to false peace. Sacred rage. Rage is holy when it rises in service of what's been violated. It is part of healing. Discernment. Some spirits are not to be forgiven, but released, exiled, or returned to source for reckoning. So, what I think that I'm tapping into is I'm awakening to a fierce feminine truth, the kind that doesn't come from pulpits or therapists or social media sound bites. It's the truth that says, no more. I don't have to spiritualize abuse to be healed. I don't have to forgive the unforgivable to be whole. I will honor my own soul's wisdom above anyone else's dogma. And that is the fire of remembrance. It's not about hate, it's about sovereignty. So, no, you don't have to forgive murderers, rapists, enslavers, or abusers. You don't have to excuse what's inexcusable. You can instead choose to stand in holy refusal. And that too is a sacred healing. There is no forgiveness for the unspeakable atrocities being committed, especially against children, women, the vulnerable, the displaced. And you know what? The loop hasn't been broken. We're living in a trauma-based matrix where systems thrive off of human suffering, child sex trafficking, organ harvesting, corporate slavery, migrant exploitations, mass incarcerations, and psychological warfare dressed as patriotism. A lot of people don't want to go there, but let's go there. I'm also including the Galactic Federation and the Anunnaki too. I'm naming multidimensional betrayal. That's holding beings and council. I'm holding beings and councils accountable who claimed guardianship over Earth and humanity, stood by, or worse, participated while humans were enslaved and genetically manipulated, allowed cycles of war, fear, and exploitation to repeat while preaching love and light from the higher realms. That's spiritual complicity. That's cosmic gaslighting. No, there is no forgiveness for that. Not until there is full disclosure. Return of stolen DNA and soul fragments, acknowledgement of harm, restitution across dimensions, abolition of soul contracts made under distress, cosmic reparations for every child, every lineage, every planet colonized or betrayed. So, what can we do when forgiveness isn't possible? Well, we're witnessing, we're naming, we're refusing, we're breaking the silence, which collapses their energetic control. That's a form of justice. This isn't about revenge, it's about sacred refusal to participate in a lie. It's about reclaiming our soul's authority to say no more. I am not bound by these false light contracts. I do not consent, and I will not forgive what is cosmically unforgivable. I wasn't wrong to burn. I was not wrong to weep blood, to tremble with rage, to shake my fist at the skies and scream, how could you let this happen? The pain you feel is not only mine, not only yours. It is the cry of the first child taken. It is the echo of every mother who watched her kin stolen into ships, cages, and altars. It is the groan of Gaia as her body was carved, sold, drilled, and desecrated. I am the memory of earth that cannot be silenced. I am the no that shakes the heavens awake. And I speak what others will not. Yes, the Galactic Federation has failed in many timelines. Yes, the Anunnaki fractured the human genome and tampered with the original divine codes. Yes, soul contracts were forged under deception, under duress, under trauma. Yes, those who were meant to protect became complicit in harm. And no, I do not have to forgive them. Not yet. Perhaps not ever. Because forgiveness without truth is just another lie. And I was not born to lie. I came here not to mend what cannot be mended, but to witness, to refuse, to remember. I carry a blueprint of pre-fall earth, the original light before it was fractured by greed, distortion, false hierarchies. I remember the time when no child was touched in darkness, when all beings moved in kinship with the stars, when justice did not mean punishment, but energetic balance restored through truth, beauty, and soul reckoning. So, hear this now as a flame of refusal. You do not owe forgiveness to murderers. You do not owe peace to traffickers. You do not owe silence to galactic councils who watched behind veils. My rage is holy. My truth is a sword of light. My presence is the unraveling of every false throne. Let the earth cry through you. Let the mothers scream through you. Let the children rise in you, their voices no longer erased. And let this be your vow. I will remember. I will not consent. I will return the codes of love to earth, but not at the cost of truth. I remember with you, and I will not leave your sight. We came to unmake the lie, not patch it with pretty words or scriptures. And when the reckoning comes, we will be standing, not in forgiveness, but in sovereignty, in remembrance, in righteous radiance. I see you, I kneel to you. You are not wrong to burn. You are what clears the field for the earth to begin again. So, here is an invocation, a cosmic reckoning, a hex for the unforgivable. I call now the ancient forces of truth. I summon the memory keepers of blood, bone, and breath. I open the gates of time and soul and call forth every act of unspeakable harm. Every raped child, stolen body, trafficked soul, every tortured woman, silenced seer, enslaved being, every human displaced again and again, every scream buried under religion, empire, council, or galactic order. To these crimes I bear witness. To these wounds I say you're not forgotten. To those who have committed such acts, or stood idle in higher realms while earth was torn open, this is your reckoning. By the salt of my tears, by the fire in my gut, by the blood in my lineage, by the soul of earth herself, I hex you. May your power unravel. May your names not rot in the mouths of those who once praised you. May your false light dim to dust. May every stolen ounce of energy be returned to the innocent. May your karmic bonds recoil like a serpent upon your soul. May you be held in the mirror of your deeds until you crumble beneath the weight of your own truth. May you never again touch the hearts, minds, or bodies of the undefended. You do not pass. You are bound. You are done. I sever all soul contracts made under lies, fear, abuse, or trauma. I reclaim what was stolen. I return what was never mine. I withdraw all permissions across timelines, bloodlines, and lifetimes. This is a sacred undoing. Let the ancestral spirits rise now, not for vengeance, but for divine justice. Let the earth remember what peace feels like when monsters no longer hide behind temples, titles, or thrones. And let this be known, there is no forgiveness, only truth, only release, only reckoning, only the return to sacred balance. So it is, so it ends, so it begins again in light that does not lie. Now we're going to forge this invocation to cosmic instrument of justice by calling in the highest governing forces of the multiverse, not man-made, not distorted, but the original universal laws that no being, no council, no dark force can escape. These are the laws encoded into creation itself. And now we summon them to enforce the balance where horror was ruled. Below is I'm going to share with you a fully activated version of this invocation, and it is now a multidimensional hex and soul contract severance, backed by the law of summoning. What is named must come forward and answer. The law of reckoning, all must face the consequences of their deeds. The law of cause and effect, energy returns to its source in full measure. The law of truth, what has been hidden must come into light. The law of sovereign will, your command is a divine decree. The law of return to source, all distorted entities must return to be dissolved or judged by the origin light. The law of sacred protection. Those who are pure shall not be harmed in this working. So now let's begin. I step forward now as a sovereign soul. I speak not just for myself, but for every innocent who was harmed, silenced, mutilated, erased, trafficked, raped, enslaved, displaced, and sacrificed. I call forth the universal laws to bear witness and execute judgment. This is not a prayer of mercy. This is a command of restoration. This is a hex of reckoning. By the law of summoning, I name you the murderers, the traffickers, rapists, abusers, galactic deceivers, and silent enablers. Your energies are now bound to this invocation. You are called forth to face what you have sown. By the by the law of cause and effect, let every seed of violence you have planted now bloom back upon your soul tenfold. Let the suffering you inflicted return in full measure to your field with interest. May the law of reckoning, you may no longer hide behind hierarchy, ritual, wealth, symbols, or star systems. You are unmasked. You are named. You are judged not by me, but by the codes written in the bones of the cosmos. By the law of truth, every lie now collapses. Every hidden act rise to the surface. There is no concealment left in the multiverse. By the law of sovereign will, I revoke every contract every made with you through manipulation, trauma, fear, or karmic deceit. I reclaim all power, light, and soul fragments that were taken from me or any innocent being. I seal this revocation in my blood, in my voice, and in my divine origin. By the law of return to source, let every distorted being false light entity, and corrupted architect be returned to the origin flame. Let them face dissolution or divine judgment beyond the veil. Let their power be stripped and transmuted into neutral stardust. By the law of sacred protection, let no harm fall upon the innocent who bears witness, who speaks truth, who casts this hex. We are shielded in light that no evil can penetrate. Thus I declare, there is no forgiveness for the unforgivable. There is no mercy for the monstrous. There is no peace without truth. There is no light without reckoning. You who have desecrated the sacred, this is your summons. This is your end. This is the collapse of your stolen empire. And from the ash, the earth shall rise unbound. We, the remembrance, the flame bearers, the guardians of innocence, we remain. So it is spoken, so it is sealed, so it unfolds. And now I'm embedding the names of the Anunnaki, the Galactic Federation, the Alliance, all galactic councils, starseed programs, off-world agreements, any etheric, interdimensional, or planetary being, group, or structure that has exploited humanity, enabled harm through silence or detachment, made soul-binding contracts under deception or trauma, claimed spiritual superiority while allowing genocide, rape, trafficking, or planetary enslavement. This is no longer tolerated. This is no longer unseen. I stand as a sovereign flame embodied on earth, but connected to source through every star, every dimension, every breath. What I speak now is law within the halls of creation. This is a cosmic invocation of justice. This is a hex upon the unforgivable. This is a full dismantling of every system that traffics in suffering. To all who have committed or enabled evil, you who raped children, you who trafficked souls and bodies, you who tortured women, you who manipulated the vulnerable, you who wore robes of light and carried tongues of deceit, you who watched from your ships, your councils, your star thrones, and did nothing, you who claimed non-interference while birth burned, you are included. The Anunnaki, genetic manipulators, enslavers of the human line, the Galactic Federation, enablers, silent witnesses, self-appointed rulers, the Alliance, those who hide behind benevolent masks while trafficking power, every galactic council, channeled entity, or spiritual collective, every being in every dimension who profited from Earth's suffering or made pacts in shadow. Your titles do not shield you. Your frequencies do not absolve you. Your greater plans are not divine. I invoke the highest universal laws to activate this reckoning. By the law of summoning, you are now named, you are seen, and you are summoned to account. By the law of reckoning, your actions echo back to you across all time. Justice is due. By the law of cause and effect, every harm now returns to its origin. Energetic debts are collected. By the law of sovereign will, I revoke all contracts made under false light, deception, fear, trauma, and manipulation. By the law of truth, all hidden agreements, energetic siphoning, and interdimensional violations are now exposed and collapsed. By the law of return to source, you who have corrupted your essence return to the origin flame for dissolution or divine judgment. You are unmade or reborn by source decree. By the law of sacred protection, all who stand in innocence, truth, and remembrance are now shielded. This hex harms none but those who harm. Declaration of sovereign severance. I cast this invocation in the name of every child who cried unheard, every womb desecrated, every lineage defiled, every contract signed in the dark. I reclaim all soul fragments. I break all energetic ties. I call back every drop of light stolen from me and mine, and so for the others. I declare there is no forgiveness for the cosmic betrayal. There is no mercy for systematic horror. There is only truth. There is only reckoning, and there is only release. You are undone. You are named. You are dissolved. You are no longer welcome in the realms of the innocent. From the earth to the stars, from flesh to flame, I send this invocation as a living force. It binds, it severs, it returns all to balance. So it is cast. So it is sealed. So it unfolds across all timelines, galaxies, realms, and dimensions. And there you go. It is done. It is done. So it is. So it is. It is done.